was a place where there's no trouble, no more pain, no more struggle.
Hi there. Thank you so much for tuning in to Grounded in Maine today. My name is Amy. I am feeling like such a lucky person today specifically. I feel like I need to pinch myself because this was an interview that I was not sure that I was going to happen. I didn't think I was cool enough, honestly. But so I'm so glad to have been able to share a chat with Laura, and I'm so excited for you guys to hear this. This is Laura Marston. She owns GoGo Refill in South Portland. It's the first of its kind in Maine, and I believe she said New England specifically as well. And she's a trendsetter. She's not afraid to stand up and say, I'll lead the way in sustainability in Maine. I'm okay with that. So her store, GoGo Refill, totally honest, I have not been to the store. It's farther away than I like to go, but one of these days I will get there. Things are just very busy. But she does have she has a van that they do pop-ups with, and they actually are at my farmer's market every Saturday, and so I've been to visit them there. But you can buy bulk items. You can buy, you can bring in your old salsa jars or, whatever containers you have, and you can fill them with soaps or shampoo or laundry detergent or, hand soap or whatever. You can, they have all of those things to refill, which is so fantastic. Anyway, I will let her tell you all about it. I just want you to know how big of a deal it is for me that she is on here, and I hope that she is not too embarrassed when she hears this. All right, to Laura. Hello. Today I am speaking with Laura Marston from a newish store in our area. It's in South Portland. It's called GoGo Refill, and I'm such a big fan. And I've honestly never been to the store, but they have a van that will bring stuff to different places. And so they come to my farmer's market, and I've been visiting there. So Laura, I'm a huge fan. You said that GoGo Refill was the first of its kind in Maine, which is so amazing.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Amy, for having me, and for all the nice things you've already said. Yeah, so GoGo Refill was the first of its kind in Maine and New England. So we are the first zero waste refill store in these parts. Our goal is to help people who are trying to ditch single-use plastic. And the way we do that is we stock bulk home and body products, and people can bring their own containers into our store and refill them. So you don't have to buy a new plastic container every time you buy something like laundry detergent, dish soap, hand soap, shampoo, conditioner, and all manner of other things as well.
Yay! That's so cool. I am so curious, and I know I was reading up on you a little bit and just looking at past posts, and so GoGo Refill came from initially a New Year's resolution, and you wanted to not use the single-use plastic bags. Is that correct?
It was that's what sort of started my low waste journey, was a New Year's resolution to not buy single-use plastic water bottles anymore. And it came from I'm a person, I considered myself fairly sustainable. And we'd go for a car trip and we'd start out with our water bottles, our refillable water bottles, but then we'd finish them and we'd stop and buy a bottle of water at the gas station because that's, what we've always done. And all of a sudden I was like, that's not the way I should be doing this. I don't need that extra bottle of water. I should just find a place to refill the water bottle that I have in the car. And I know that all sounds really simple, but it was really the thing that triggered for me. I have to set these rules for myself. And that's where it kind of started and then snowballed into, okay, I don't want to buy a plastic water bottle, but I also don't want to buy my dish soap in plastic. And I also don't want to buy hummus in plastic at the grocery store. And, so it just like, I went kind of through my house and what I was available to me in the Portland area, and felt like I had sort of hacked Portland for what I could get plastic free around here. And there was a hole in the market. And I said, I want to be able to get some nice cleaning supplies and bath and beauty supplies and things like that are not available unless I, order them online. And I had sort of mixed experiences with doing it that way. So that's how the conversation started. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait a second, am I really going to be the one who does this? And here we are 3 years later.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was thinking as you were telling that story, like, were you thinking of doing like a co-op thing where people would come to you and refill their own stuff? Or were you instantly thinking like, I should have a store?
Well, I found through doing research after I was kind of on my lowest journey and doing more and more research onto why, just finding more evidence all the time about why we should be avoiding plastic. I started to see the model of a refill shop, either a grocery or a refill home and body shop like ours. And this model did exist. I did not invent it, but I saw a bunch of stores like this elsewhere in the country, in Australia, in Europe, and visited one in Colorado, and it just made sense for our community, what was available and what wasn't available. When we first opened, people did come in and fill their own things. So we'd have a 5-gallon bucket of dish soap, and someone would bring their dish soap bottle in and pump it themselves. When COVID started and we went on lockdown and kind of weren't open for a few months, and then when we opened back up, we changed the model a little bit so that our team would be the only ones pumping things. We thought it was going to be a temporary switch, but it turns out that everybody likes it better. It's less messy. People don't want to spill in your store. People may have questions about the product and not be able to direct themselves to the right thing in the store without a little input. So this way, we're kind of like your soap barista. We'll tell you anything you need to know about all of the products that are behind our counter. We'll fill them for you. You can ask questions. We'll talk about all the usages and things like that. And it works out, I think, way better this way.
And I think I'm so impressed, Laura, that your employees, your staff also are so informed. Like they're very knowledgeable of the product, which if I were to work at a coffee shop, I would be like, yeah, I don't drink coffee, but I can pour it. So I can't really give you information on that. And some people are like, oh yeah, well, people say that this is great. But everyone that I've talked to, I've asked like, so have you used this and what's the feedback on that? And everyone has something to say, which I'm so impressed by.
Well, thank you. And that's like a huge point of pride for me, is that our team is so absolutely fantastic. I've been really, really lucky. Most people who work here have come to us because they also feel very passionate about reducing their waste. And it's oftentimes been part of their lifestyle already. And they found us and said, oh, I'm passionate about this, and I can work in a store that promotes it. So I think that's brought us people who are super enthusiastic about the products and the process. But yeah, thanks for saying that. I'm so proud to work with these guys every day.
That's awesome. Very cool. I love, and the folks that I've talked to are all, I'm not going to say that you're not young, but you're, the staff that I've talked to are probably in their early 20s, right?
Yeah.
And they're very passionate and they know a lot, which when I was in my 20s, I don't think
I'm in the same boat.
But
yeah,
so
absolutely.
For attracting them.
Well, thank you. But I believe very strongly, and it's a point of our training always, is that we're asking people to do something that's a little bit different than how they've shopped before. And it can be seen to some people as another step, right? You're not just going to the grocery store, you're going to the grocery store and you're going to GoGo, and you have to bring your containers, or, we always have extra containers, but if you're doing it by the book, you'll bring your containers that are empty. And so it is a couple more steps. And we want to make sure that when people do put the effort in, that the experience they have when they come here or see us at a farmer's market is an experience of delight. Like we make it fun to do. We are really friendly, and we make the experience a positive one. And that's really important to me as part of our brand.
Absolutely. Very cool. I'm so curious about this. So when you opened up 3 years ago, it was just 3 years ago last week.
Yep.
Uh, were people like lined up to come in and see what this GoGo refill was all about?
Kind of. I mean, we opened our doors and without a lot of press or fanfare. And on the first day we were open, I was here by myself being like, what's going to happen? And people came in. People had been waiting for us. There definitely were a bunch of people who were like, we've been waiting for a store like this, sought us out. And, we've learned a lot from those customers and also have retained them as regular customers. So that's been great.
That's very cool. I only learned about you last year, and I'm like I'm on the bandwagon. Ever since then. Okay, so people came in when you first opened, and it's been 3 years now. So tell us, can you tell us like what are your favorite sustainable products that you carry? What
Yeah. I mean, I got to be honest, it depends on the day. But we do use and test. I'm not going to say I use everything in the store because I can't anymore, but we test everything. We get samples of stuff. People use them. We collect feedback, and it varies, right? So I have my favorite. I'm a huge advocate for shampoo and conditioner bars. There are brands. It wasn't like this 5 years ago, but now there are brands that are really high performing, that are affordable, that last a really long time, and they're sort of a no brainer. I would urge everyone to try, but not all shampoo bars are created equal. So if you've had a bad experience with one shampoo bar, don't
Don't write 'em
you
off.
don't have to put it on the shelf. You don't have to. Yeah, there are new ones that are fantastic. I love shampoo and conditioner bars. I love travel utensils. I know that's a funny thing to love, but I use them all the time. I really try to walk the walk. So if you see me out, I'm likely if there's a plastic fork around, I'm likely eating with my own fork
Mhm.
that I brought with me, sporting my GoGo Refill water bottle. There are products that just like, okay, so another favorite of mine since before I opened the store has been a dish block. So it's a solid dish soap, works really well, gets really sudsy, really clean ingredients, and lasts a super long time. And what I love about it is it's a super hands-free way to do the dishes. So you don't have to like put your pot down and pump with your other hand. You
Mhm.
just take the sponge or scrubber that you have in your hand and you rub it on top of the block and you get the soap that way. So I love that a lot of these products are cool and easy to use and really effective.
Awesome. Okay. I was really tempted by that actually
Yeah.
when I was there the other day. And I'm so curious also, and I need to get and try the reusable Q-tip thing.
Oh, I was so not a fan of that. I hadn't tried it yet, but when they called us to say you should stock these in your store, and I was like, I don't really love that. It is made from recycled plastic, but it is plastic, and we have a biodegradable option in bamboo and cotton. So I was on the fence of whether we should even carry it, but now we do, and I got one and I love it.
Oh, but it's something that, yeah, it is unfortunate that it's plastic, but you can use it over and over and over and over again and just wash
Right.
it, right?
Oh yeah, that's what it does. Yeah, and it seems really durable and it's great for traveling. Um,
You don't have to
because
carry a whole box full of Q-tips.
it saves space in your bathroom. So yeah, I'm a fan now. I'm a convert.
Oh, very cool. All right. And I love so much. Obviously, I'm like a big fan of the GoGo van, so that you can offer pop-up refill opportunities. And so you have, is it 3 or 4 different locations that you do during the week right now?
So every week we're in 3 different locations. Wednesdays we're in Yarmouth, Thursdays we're in Scarborough, and Saturdays we're in Brunswick at the farmers market where we see you. But we do every occasional Friday at Allagash Brewing.
Awesome. That's so cool. Go to the brew
Yeah,
pub and get your beer, and you get your laundry soap. Uh,
exactly.
and Yeah, I remember very well. I remember very clearly the first time that I met you, and you sold me the laundry soap, and you were telling me that the laundry soap is. You said it's 11 cents per load.
Yeah, depending on which one you buy from us. So the ones we stock are very concentrated. So you can use just 1 tablespoon per load. So whereas the per ounce price might be a little bit more than what you'd pay in the grocery store, if you use the right amount of it, you're paying way less than you would for a Tide or even sometimes like a store brand.
That's amazing. And there are no big plastic jugs to take up
And there
space
are
on
no
the road.
exactly. Yeah,
Cool.
to fill up your recycling bin.
Yeah. And so how has the reception been with that, with the van, other than me? Who's gonna follow you
People
anywhere?
Yeah, people tend to like it. It's fun. We get out into different communities that way. So we meet a lot of new people. And a lot of what we're doing when we're out with the van is introducing ourselves to people who haven't been to our store in South Portland. So it's half marketing, half sales.
Right.
Um, so it's great. It's great fun. It gets us out of the shop a little bit. And we get to talk to new people, which is the best way to you know, interact with what we're doing. And if you haven't been here, is to talk to one of us. So
Yeah, absolutely. Work for me. And then, so let's see, can you tell us a little bit more about the store? You said it's home and body products,
mhm.
but and I know that the soaps and then body products, so you have like lotions and clearly the shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of different laundry products, all-purpose cleaner, hand soap, dish soap, um, toothpaste tablets, which are these little tablets that you put in your mouth and you chew them up, and then you brush with a wet brush and basically makes toothpaste in your mouth while you're brushing.
It's amazing.
Doesn't require a tube, so you can bring in a little jar. Like someone this morning brought in a little spice jar and we filled it with toothpaste tablets, and that's their toothpaste. We have liquid shampoo and conditioner as well as the bars. We have bulk room spray, carpet deodorizer, body wash. But then we have a lot of grab and go items too. So we have like the reusable silicone bags, a lot of other great reusables. We have all, bamboo dish brushes, um, pot scrapers, anything to do your dishes or clean that you previously probably were using something in plastic. We have a biodegradable or easily recyclable, replacement for that.
Right.
I love the home reusable. So the average family spends, like $170 on paper towels a year. We have reusable paper towels called unpaper towels that you just wash and dry and put back out, so you're not cutting down trees or using all the water that's used to manufacture paper towels, and you're also saving money. So there are a lot of things that we sell that are the upfront cost, long-term savings kind of products, like the reusable paper towels, or we have a metal razor that you put the blades in yourself, and so you're the only thing that you need to be buying is the actual razor blade, versus when you go to the CVS and you buy the Gillette razor pack and you get 4 razors for $25 or something like that, and it comes in all this plastic. And I can't remember, I think it's something like 2 billion razors are go into landfill a year in the US.
Oh, it's so painful. Oh my gosh.
And it's expensive. So I mean, the razor we sell is an upfront cost. It's a great Christmas list item. It's beautiful. It's $84, but then after that, you really don't. You have to spend so little on the replacement blades that you end up saving money pretty quickly.
Oh, okay. I need that. All right. I'm so glad. I'm so glad we had that conversation. We've been
Yeah.
talking about it. I have a Facebook group for this, and that was one of the first conversations. The reusable, the disposable razors are just such a racket.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing because I think you're a genius, Laura. I'm just gonna say it. But I think, you invented it, and that's fine. But like you brought it here, and especially, it's so hard. We're in such a routine that it's
Mhm.
so great that you were there to make that change easier, because it's such a it's a hard thing to just change your mindset and be like, okay, I'm gonna buy all new things and
Totally.
then the fact that you can bring a small thing and you can try it from your place, and if you like
Mhm.
it you can buy a lot, or because oh my gosh, I hated buying a bottle of shampoo and then it's horrible on my hair and it's still $6 and I just have to, what do you do with that? But
Right. Totally.
you make it so easy to help with that transition, because it is important, and it's very much a mindset. Like, I'm going to
Yeah.
not do this, and how do I even start? Well, here is the store, and you can just go inside and go nuts.
Yeah. And we encourage people to go slow and steady. And also remind people that the least wasteful thing to use is the thing that you already own. And that's kind of a hard thing, because when people are having their kind of plastic awakening, I call it for myself, is like, oh God, I got to get all the plastic out of my home, but I have so much and I just want to get rid of it all and start over. Well, that's kind of a wasteful thing to do. And you're also more likely, if you try to do it all at once, you're more likely to feel like you're failing and quit. So we say, it's written on the wall of our store, think big, start small. So these daily changes in habit are what actually build a strong foundation for living a low waste lifestyle. That brings me to something I always like to clarify. We're called a zero waste store. That's kind of the term that people know. But I much prefer talking about a low waste lifestyle, because I think it makes it so much more attainable. Zero waste doesn't feel very accessible for people, or because it's not. And also, I want to invite people in. So if you're just reducing your waste in one little corner of your life, that's a great step. That's still waste you're not making. That's still resources you're not using. So I like to draw that distinction between zero waste and low waste.
That's so great. That's so great, because you make it like inviting, really. And
It,
here, just give it a try.
yeah. Yeah, I know. No, and you do bring up one of the beauties of this model is that you can just try something. You
Mhm.
don't have to commit to a full bottle of it that could be wasted. You can bring in, like I mentioned, spice jar, baby food jars. We have here a container library. People donate their old containers to us and we clean them and give them away for free, because we're not trying to make money off of selling new container. That's the opposite of why we're here. We do have some new containers in the store for people who want to start fresh. But if you are in the area or you're here and you want to try something that you didn't plan for and didn't bring another container, we always have a freebie for you to use.
Awesome. That's very cool. So,
Yeah,
do
you
you
got to come
have
down.
goals, Laura, for GoGo Refill? Like, franchising it out or adding some sort of service? Have you considered that, or am I just like blowing you out of
Oh
the
yeah. No, no, it's all there's a plan for everything. um, I think we've been doing the Brunswick farmers market and that's been going really, really well for us. We have a lot of customers from that area. So eventually a store up there is on the list. It hasn't come to fruition. I haven't found the right space or team or that stuff up there yet, but I'm looking. So even though it scares me, that's probably the next thing to come.
I'm okay with that. I'm happy to help with that. Uh,
Great.
that's very cool. The last question that I had for you, Laura, was excuse me. When I say the word sustainability, what does that mean to you? And I know that's kind of vague, but
No,
it's kind of a spot for you to just say what you feel.
yeah, I mean, it means a billion different things, but I think going back to that think big, start small, sustainability changes have to be made within your ability and your means and your what you can handle. And so for me, it was, oh hey, I think I could have the skills to start this store and create a community conversation around waste or augment an existing community conversation around waste and plastic. And I think that's within my abilities and my means and as the more that I thought about it, I started to feel the responsibility to do it. So for me, that's where I was able to plug in. But for everybody has a different um, passion and a different area that they're able to spend their time and resources. So, and I also think it's super important. We need everybody to do their little part. I think a really dangerous notion in the conversation about the climate crisis is that individual actions don't matter. And also, an equally dangerous and opposite notion is that only individuals can change this. So, number one, I think our individual actions do matter, and we can look at what the impact the store has had. So, in the 3 years we've been in business, we have helped our refillers to refuse over 120,000 new plastic packages and products.
120,000.
Yeah, so that
That's
feels like
amazing.
a chunk, right?
That's a big
And
chunk.
that's 1 ounce at a time, right?
Right.
So like small individual actions can make a big impact, but also it's really important that corporations come to play and pay for the messes they make, and also there is regulation to hold them accountable to do things correctly, for everyone else. So I think there have to be solutions that are both at the individual level and at the government level and in the corporate world. So we can't ignore either parts of that equation.
Right. Because I remember
I
you
have no idea
actually
what
had
are
a part in you wrote a letter, or you did something with the plastic bag thing, single-use bags, right?
Yeah, well, I've done a bit of going to Augusta or sitting on a Zoom committee hearing about a few issues, one of them being the EPR for packaging bill that was just passed in Maine last summer. EPR for packaging, it stands for extended producer responsibility. And what it does is it shifts the burden of the cost of disposing of all this packaging waste from taxpayers to the corporations and brands that sell packaged products in Maine. So what happens is they will pay, big corporations like Nestle Waters, for example, will pay into a fund if they're going to sell their products in Maine. And if they make good packaging decisions, they will have to pay less. And that money will go to towns, because at the municipal level is where our solid waste stream is paid for.
Right.
So there are models for that all over the world. The EU has EPR for packaging. 5 provinces in Canada. There's EPR for packaging on every continent. So it's a well studied model. So we can show that it works to increase recycling rates and reduce waste, and B, doesn't push costs onto the consumer, which is one of the big points that the opposition will say. So it was a really exciting thing to be able to be involved in a minor way. I wrote some op-eds. I attended the hearing. I tried to get other businesses to sign on to a letter saying that they supported EPR for packaging. So it was really exciting to be a part of that. Maine was the first state to pass that in the US. Right now it's in rules making, so it'll be a little while before it is enacted with full rules, but it's really exciting. It's the next step for managing waste. So
For sure. For sure. I mean, yeah, so I was thinking about, I was going to ask you how y'all's plastic-free July went.
well, we had a lot of great conversations with people about steps they were going to take during July. On a personal level, we started off really strong, and then my kids both went to camps where I needed to send them lots of snacks. So
Right.
we kind of fell off the wagon for part of it. But I think what I was trying to do for Plastic Free July was really identify snacks that my kids will eat that don't come in plastic. So we did a lot of taste testing of things we could get in the bulk bins at the Portland Food Co-op. We tried to make a few things ourselves with varying degrees of success, but we did come out of it with a new lineup of snacks my kids will eat that don't come in plastic. So that's good and net
Awesome.
positive.
Awesome. Yeah, I was a lot more mindful, obviously, and I just came away. I was like, there are so many things that we buy at like the grocery store that are
Yeah.
in plastic, like deli
Oh
items.
yeah.
cheeses and stuff are all wrapped in plastic, and like, how do you
They're
get
all-
around that? Um,
There isn't a simple answer for that. I mean, I think it depends on where you live and the amount of effort you're willing to put in.
right,
Can
right.
you go to the cheese counter and say,
Give them a dish.
yeah, or give them, ask if they'll put it in your own container. Many won't. Some will, and sometimes it depends on who's on the other side, the individual who's on the other side of the counter, not necessarily the
Right.
store.
Yeah.
But those places often will wrap in paper instead of plastic if you're getting things cut, or you could ask, can you wrap that in paper for me? So not a slam dunk answer, but that's the thing. Like I I've said a lot recently, I feel like this keeps coming up, but like living low waste is not like the meat of it is in those small daily decisions.
Yeah.
Like, okay, do I buy the cheese? Oh, like for example, Parmesan cheese. Do I buy the wedge of Parmesan cheese or do I buy the tub?
Mhm,
Right? Because the tub you look at and you're like, well, I can reuse this container.
mhm.
But when you look at like the cheese to plastic ratio, the wedge has a lot more cheese and a lot less plastic.
Right.
And it's something you buy if you have kids like mine who eat so much Parmesan cheese, you are going through it pretty frequently. So
The
you're not
big.
going to reuse a tub a week, right?
Mhm.
And so I think it's better to go with the wedge. And it also doesn't have like, there are a bunch of additives in pre-shredded Parmesan cheese
Yeah, it has
to
the
keep it
wood fibers, right?
yeah, to keep it all separated and not clumpy.
Mm.
Um, so I think that the best bet is to go with the wedge. And yeah, there's a little plastic with it that can't be recycled, but it's less plastic. So it like that's where the meat of this lifestyle comes in, is like making those tiny decisions all the time
Yeah.
so that you end up with less trash in your trash can.
Yes. Yes. And then there was a conversation I heard this morning about, the plastic bags that we put our trash in.
Yeah.
It's such a huge part of our existence that we
Yep.
need to
Well, and
shift.
I can talk to that. So if you compost, which is a great place to start if you haven't started, it really not only does it reduce methane, because when food breaks down in the landfill, it lets off a lot of methane gas, but when it breaks down in a compost pile, it does not. When you're composting everything, there's nothing gross in your trash,
Hmm.
so you don't need a plastic bag. So we just use whatever paper bag is around. Sometimes we'll use like a tortilla chip bag if we have one of those. Um, but we don't have plastic bags. We don't have trash bags anymore. And
Oh,
there
okay.
there have been very few moments where I've been like, oh, I need a trash bag, because I buy bread at the grocery store. There is a plastic bag around if there's something like, I don't know, you
Hmm.
need to pick up dog poop, or
Right.
there's some emergency that I'm having trouble even thinking of them because we've just worked around it for so long now. But like, there's no rule that says you have to put your trash in a plastic bag. I
Hmm.
mean, that being said, unless you live in the city of Portland, and there are places where you have to buy the proper bag, and that's
Oh,
how
well, yeah, Brunswick
they
is, I
fund
mean,
some.
there are a lot of towns, I think, north of you that do, I mean, our Brunswick does as well. So we have to
Yeah,
put in plastic.
yeah.
Something to work
So
on. Something
right.
for us to work
So
on.
sorry, I don't have a solution for that anymore.
No, that's fine. We're trying to reduce the plastic, and here we are putting our trash in plastic, even though.
Yeah, but I bet there are a lot of people who have other plastic bags that they put their trash in, and then put that in the Portland bag or the municipal bag, because the municipal bags cost more.
Right.
So, maybe your bathroom trash, right? Like just changing that mindset. Okay, well, it doesn't need to be in a plastic bag. Put it in a different kind of bag, or
Absolutely.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, gosh, Laura, I appreciate all of your information and all of your time. My goodness, you've been so generous, and thank you so much for being a sustainability champion for Southern Maine.
Oh, well, thank you so much for saying all sorts of nice things about me, Amy.
I'm sure you don't feel like a really big deal, but for a lot of us, like we needed someone to open that up. And so you, by starting the store and by taking some kind of political stance, like you're opening opportunities for all of us just by being you.
Oh, well, that feels really good to hear. So thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. All
And
right.
we've got to get you down to the store.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. You betcha. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a great afternoon.
Thank you. You too. It was a pleasure.
Oh my goodness. I neglected to ask Laura how to find her. I mean, I know how to find her, but I wanted to have her say it so that you could hear it. And so I'm going to say it so that you can hear it. So to find and follow Laura, I highly recommend, if you're in the South Portland area, check that place out, the store GoGo Refill. They're at 62 E Street. That's E like East, in South Portland, Maine. The website is www.gogorefill.com. You can also follow her and all of her awesome posts and everything that store is up to. You can see all the cool things that are offered on Instagram or Facebook at GoGo Refill. I want to just take a quick second and thank my guest again. I also need to thank Buzzsprout for hosting the podcast and Jane Bolduck for her amazing music.
There'll come a day, my mama told me, when I find love to have and hold me, a heart that's strong and so sincere. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? Oh, tell me, how do I get there from here? 'Cause here and now I'm so far down that mercy's bound to find me. We'll find a way to soothe the sickness. We'll heal the hate with sweet forgiveness. Wages of war will disappear. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? I wonder, how do I get there from here? Yeah, 'cause here and now I'm so far down that mercy's bound to find me. When that state of grace has finally found me, well, there'll be music, ooh, and good friends around me, yeah, yeah. And I'll just smile through happy tears and wonder,